Hello, today we're going to be looking at The Amazing Spider-Man Venom Death Spiral #1, written by Joe Kelly, Al Ewing, and Charles Soule, with artwork by Jesus Saiz. So, a new superpowered serial killer is on the loose, and he's coming for Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage, and everyone in between. What terrible secret does Carnage learn about Peter Parker, and what does this all have to do with Spider-Man? Honestly, this was really disappointing. Marvel has this really bad habit of putting a #1 issue that really isn't a #1 issue. It's just a setup for a 9-part crossover between the Spider titles. And honestly, if you haven't been reading those books, this is not going to make any sense whatsoever. I haven't read any of those books lately, and it's just, I was just completely lost. I mean, there is the basic story of this serial killer, looking for them and all this stuff, but anything that had to do with like Peter, apparently he disappeared and he's came back. MJ is now Venom. Carnage just, wants to kill people. It didn't really make any sense. And it's a real shame because, they do these #1s and it's not really a #1. And then it's just one of those things. It's not new reader friendly at all. And I don't know who they're trying to convince to read this crossover, because if you haven't been reading it, it kind of makes no sense whatsoever. And the other thing that was kind of odd was the artwork by Jesus was a little on the odd side. I don't know if it was the artwork or the coloring on it. It just had like an odd feel to it. And a lot of it was like the shading and stuff. I don't know if that had to do with the colors doing it, but there's times where people are just kind of stone-faced and stuff. And, I've seen his artwork before, and it's just, it didn't look like this. So I don't quite know, I don't know if he's maybe using a different, tool digitally or penciling. I'm not sure. It had a little bit of an odd look. I'm not saying it's terrible. I mean, it looked okay, but it just had an oddness to it as I was reading it. But just like I said, as a forewarning, this is not new reader friendly. And unless you've really been reading the Spider titles, I would really not really recommend picking this book up unless you're a current reader. So what did you think? Did I miss anything in my review? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming reviews. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.